Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. We are the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Ben Crossman. Everyone, hey, how you doing? Hopefully you're having a great Friday. You're doing well and you are ready for some Computer America because we have a great show planned for you. Where in the first segment, we have, of course, a guest, and that is none other than Home8. If you have not heard of them, then, hey, this is going to be the perfect segment for you, where we're going to talk all about home security, what they do, how they do it. It's going to be a great interview. And in the second part of the program, in whatever time that we have left over, we will be doing computer and technology news. So everyone, again, hopefully you're doing good. No real news here. And hey, just happy that you could be here and that you could join us. So let me just say real quick, computeramerica.com, that's where you'll find everything, including a link to our guest website, any videos that we show, any articles that we cover, anything and everything will be at Computer America after the program. You can find the show notes. They'll be up there for a couple of weeks, or for like 2 weeks. And yeah, so also be sure to check out the live video feed, check out some of our recent articles. We have some good reviews up and more. So everyone, Computer America one more time. Computeramerica.com. So with that being said, I think we're just going to go ahead and get started with our guest, jump right into it. A lot to talk about. And I always love talking about home security because, it's one of those things that really can put you at peace of mind if you are living alone or if you have family, relatives, people who live alone. Just having that protection, super, super important. So let's go ahead and get our guest on. So as I said before, Home8 will be joining us, and none other than the Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Joe Liu. And Joe, welcome on to Computer America. How you doing?
Thank you, Ben. It's my honor to be on your show. And first of all, I think you will pronounce it Home8, and if you pronounce it faster, it would be Home8. So that shows that our business is really trying to offer that peace of mind. It doesn't matter where you are, you will get that protection. So everything is computerized now, and fits well with the Computer America profile that is mobile centric, and covers a spectrum of protection service. That's why we called it multiple protections for less. And our business model is very unique. It's a DIY system that no pairing is. You can set up your system in 10 minutes, and then we offer professional monitoring in conjunction with collaborative protection. That's the kind of a quick overview of who we are.
Yeah, no, and very, very, you knocked that out very, very quickly. But I'm just saying that home secure, and I'm going to ask you a bit of your background as well, because have you always been in home security? What is your background when before you came to Home8?
Oh, I am basically a networking engineer, and about 10 years ago we kind of saw that IoT is coming. IoT is Internet of Things, a technology arising that could take over the legacy wired alarm system.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we started, doing this individual Internet of Things device. And quickly we realized that the differentiation is not the device itself, it's really the cloud. So be able to create a cloud managed collaboration. In this case, multiple collaboration user. You can have multiple user with supervisory control and device and the camera, that they can collaborate together. And, other collaboration would be self-monitoring and the professional monitoring, both helping you to protect you in the event that, you're not monitoring that and the professional will kick in. So all in all, it's a collaborative system in difference to the current market, which is interactive alarm, meaning that you can use mobile to monitor your home. In this case, this is all plural, and that's the nature of Internet, is that we have not followed the kind of the legacy rule. We use the Internet model, so you can have second home protection automatically, and that means that your parents is not living with you, is in Florida or somewhere, or is in London, and
right.
You can ship them a box of system. They set it up, and then you can immediately communicate to you for whatever that's happening over there. You protect them, and that's the reason why we went all the way from security to senior care, including multiple property protection. With that in mind, is that hey, this is more than just your home. It could be your second home. It could be your parents' home, and it also can be used for enterprise applications, so multiple dwellings, and then to do self-monitoring.
So
and in conjunction with professional monitoring.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I would say that's a certain segment of our listeners are kind of small business owners. They run their own businesses, and they know that you can't be at your work 24/7. So obviously, setting something up like this would be very, very helpful as well. For home, for business, and things like that. So I guess my question for you is, if someone hasn't really looked at this kind of technology in maybe, let's just say even 5 years. I'm not saying 10, 20, but just 5 years ago, would people be surprised at how easy, how comprehensive? Because before you had to, kind of contract this out to, think of some of the big, think like ADT and things like that. You had to contract that out to a larger company. Would people be surprised at how easy this would be to set up, how comprehensive it can be? How advanced has, let's say just Home8, how advanced has this gotten in maybe 5 years?
Well, we're already ahead of everybody in terms of several things. Number one is when we ship a box to you, it's really truly plug and play. The device will form a network by itself. So the consumer don't have to do any of this, typical IoT device pairing. So it's guaranteed 10-minute setup. You just download an app, and the system, the wireless IoT device will connect together themselves without you knowing it. Same thing with if there is a power outage, they come back. They recover. We call disaster recovery themselves. So everything is automated, and that's number one. Number two is that you want that peace of mind, like ADT. They have professional monitoring. Mm-hmm. So you do it yourself. And first of all, people do not realize that the biggest of the investment is labor, is the installer and the dealer cost. So we get rid of both of them. So you can buy a system online, say Home8alarm.com. Go to Home8alarm.com. You can buy a system, and the system starts with $49.99. It's so low, but it comes with a monthly $19.99 price tag. And then you get two things: professional monitoring and unlimited video recording. So you get best of the both worlds. You get the video recording; it's all interactive and collaborative, and you get also the benefit of low cost. It's only a third of ADT's cost, or other independent alarm dealers' cost is the same. With video, they're always at around $60 a month. So this is a kind of a innovative business model. We got rid of most of the dealer overhead and pass on to consumer.
Right, and by the way, there is a system, Crestron, and we've had to deal with them before where to set up cameras and things like that, like they were charging somewhere in the neighborhood of about $1,000 to come out, install the camera, connect it to your network, and so on and so forth. And I know Crestron, it's its own, very comprehensive but kind of closed network. So I'm sure that they're justifying the cost somehow, but it's just as the end user, when you're on the show talking about $40 and $30 a month and things like that, and it's really cost prohibitive, I think, to go with some of these other companies. But you've really got the price down. Who would you say is really attracted to your product so far? Who would you say your customer base is? Is it people who rent apartments? Is it small business owners? Who's using Home8 currently?
Yes, Ben. Let me tell you a few amazing numbers, and I'll tell you who are the audience who are the customers that we target. Number one is that our system, one camera is $49.99 with 2 window door sensors and a hub. A system costs $49.99. That's for apartment, that's for condo, that's for the home size less than 1,000 square foot. Mm-hmm. Anything over 1,000, then we recommend you buy that the next level, which is 2 camera and 4 sensors, and that goes for $99. And that one also gives a pad at the door. So even though that pad is just a accessory, it is not absolutely necessary. But we give you for the sake of convenience. You get into the door, you can turn on, turn off the system, and that's only $99. And the monthly is not $30; it's $19.99. So you get all-inclusive service for $19.99. That including unlimited event video recording, and also professional monitoring. So our audience, we have 4 kits that addressing 4 different markets. The smallest one is the $49 for condo, for apartment that's smaller than 1,000 square foot, and the second level would be home that cover up to 2,000 square foot, and then the third one is almost like enterprise, and then we give you almost 10 sensors, and that's $149. That comes with 2 IP cameras, 2 videos, and the fourth one is a senior care package. We offer camera and the panic button. Also at $99, you get 2 panic buttons. You get video, and then you get also the 24/7 monitoring, mm-hmm. and also comes with video. So in the event there is a false alarm, you would know right there. You can call grandma and say, grandma would say, well, I fall, I cannot get up, or she said, I'm fine. So you get video and audio communication right there.
Yeah, and just real quick, just speak to how all this is kind of controlled, because I know you said there was like a pin pad that you can install as well, but it seems like this is really made for the mobile phone. Can you give us some features about if you download the app and you set up your, let's say, 1 or 2 cameras, what kind of features do you get through the smartphone app?
Well, in difference to the traditional IP camera where you need to set up the SSID and password, in this case, in our system, we pre-program or we control that through the cloud. That's the beauty of our cloud service, is that we are able to, we're able to set up a network, without consumer doing it. Consumer only download an app, go through the steps, and then putting the necessary information, and then that's it. And the system will form the network by itself. And then in any of these emergency situation, you get notified to homeowner as well as family member that comes with video, and emergency contact that does not come with video. Better yet is you can call your local first responder directly from your phone. We offer voice over IP direct service, and so you can pre-program the local, let's say, police number. So in the event you have an intrusion, you just call the cop from your phone. And some counties offer that direct service number, some don't. Mm-hmm. So it depends on where you're located. And but most of the metropolitan area now is asking for video evidence. So if you want to deliver that video evidence that we provide, the so-called video, short 15-second video clip, you can send that clip to the first responder or the police, and then they will have to come out, for prioritized emergency response. And that's the trend, because they're shorthanded. They don't want to come out with false alarm, and, giving you a ticket for $100 fine is not the goal for the local first responders. And they want to make sure that they come out, there is a crime scene, and then they come out for real, not for, false alarm.
Right. That's very interesting. I've actually not heard about that, but it makes a lot of sense where, cameras are very, very affordable and they're easy to use. And of course, like you said, more metropolitan areas, I guess places that would have the funding to accept data and be able to screen that kind of thing have the systems in place. And I do like the fact that you can program, because I know there are some issues that can occur when you call 911 from a mobile phone. And let's say you're at work and you're some distance away, it will connect you to the closest 911 and not the one closest to your home. So being able to pre-program that.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's why we intentionally designed that, such that you program that emergency contact number. It is not 911. It is the local number that the county police provide.
Right.
So you just want to do a little homework, find out that number, put it in there. In the event of an emergency, you don't need to call 911 anymore. Just call local police.
Right. Very important. It saves you, definitely a lot of time that you don't need to be fussing with.
Absolutely. That's a very powerful feature. So we provide this collaborative protection, means that you protect yourself, and if you are not there to protect yourself, then it fall back to the professional monitoring service. So we provide that backup professional monitoring service as a all-inclusive package. So you don't have to worry about if you're not there, no one protects it. You do have protection behind you.
So talk about because you brought it up, let's go ahead and talk about the 24/7 monitoring service. Obviously, if something goes on, I guess in a lot of cases, someone is not sitting there staring at your cameras 24/7. If you have them in your home or whatever, the only time people would be checking your video feed would be if an alarm or something were triggered, something happened. So walk us through, a situation where 24/7 would actually get involved, and how would that process work?
Okay, so first step is that we offer the system we call collaborative protection, meaning any one of the sensor that triggers, if you have a forcing, any one of the sensor triggers all video camera in your house. Let's say you have 4 cameras in your house, all 4 starting to record for 15 seconds, and this at this time they will notify you as the owner, as well as family member, as well as the emergency contact, or since it's mobile based, right? So it's easy to put all these numbers into your smartphone as you wish, right? You can assign your wife as the protector. You can also remove her, if she doesn't want to be on the list.
Right.
So it's fairly straightforward. Everything is on the fly. You can do it. You can erase it. Very easy to do. And so if anyone opens up the app and then look at the app, then it will not route to the call center. So that means that you already take over the case. So that will not go to the call center. So if no one in your family, in your emergency contact, open up the app, then it will go to the call center. Mm-hmm. The call center will do the same motion to verify first, emergency contact person in your house, and the second emergency contact in your house. If no one responded, then they will call the cop.
I gotcha. No, and of course from there they'll come out and they'll verify everything is okay. Plenty of video footage and things like that. Very 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 efficient. And I do like the way that it verifies that, hey, it seems like the system's really built to reduce the amount of false alarms, which are just happen all the time.
Absolutely. The people not realize that the legacy system, the false alarm rate is 98%. There's a lot of statistics. That's why the local emergency, first responder doesn't like that, doesn't like to go out and respond to any of those calls. 98% of the case is false alarm. So our system, we call video verification, the video verified system, can eliminate 99% of the false alarm, 99% of the false alarm. So that really reduces the back end of the call center's workload, as well as first responders' false alarm workload.
So this next question is going to, start with the connected health devices, and then we're going to kind of segue that into the importance of connecting with all these different services, which I see here that you work with. And, we can talk about that. And I guess as a networking professional, you are really, you really enjoy making sure things work nicely together. So, but I did want to talk about, we have been talking about the cameras, the alarm systems. I'm sure that you have things like glass break and whatnot. Talk about, maybe some of the other products that we haven't discussed yet, but on top of that, and I'm sure you have like CO2 and fire detector as well, but also the health devices, because obviously I'm sure that a lot of us have aging parents, or, they would like, maybe themselves, maybe Apple Watch and things like that. What products haven't we discussed, and also what is kind of health focused and, care focused?
Because this is an area that we have some unique advantage. Is we're not the legacy security company, so we don't have separated division. Like home division, business division, and healthcare division. So we treat them as one. So and then from the cloud programming perspective, is that we incorporate home security, home safety, and senior care. Mm-hmm. Everything is video verified, and we also provide energy monitoring as well as automation control in our app. And we're also working with 12 other Eagles, system. They call it device control through our app, for automation control. So coming back to talk about this care side, we have 8 unique sensors, different type of sensors for our seniors, staying at home. They call aging at home, mm-hmm. and with a peace of mind. So those 8 sensors coming from, the basic panic button that we all familiar with, panic button and fall detector. And also we offer a little app to track seniors' activity. Most of the seniors doesn't want to be bothered, and, you call them in the morning. You don't need to call them now. So you just look at the app if they woke up, and then the sensor, is there any activity in the room, and we can monitor that. And also one key component that we developed is medication adherence reminder. So, we put this little sensor on top of the medication box. Then, if you open up, with a 45-degree angle, and we disable the alarm. Otherwise, we'll just keep on remind you, hey, you haven't got your medication today. You haven't got your vitamin today. So that's a medication reminder device that goes with our system. Furthermore, we have another medication dispenser with 28 slots. Really is designed for dementia and Alzheimer patient, but not for the patient themselves, it's for the caregiver. So we feed the medication, and there are 28 slots, so it's really mm-hmm. good for 7 days. So you go home, and the caregiver will be reminded to take the medication. But with, in this case, they're confident because the medication you put it in yourself, right? And this has a mechanical motor, within, and also Wi-Fi control. So you can control that motor, so every time you feed the medication, it moves to the next slot. Okay, and if you didn't feed, if you haven't feed that, then they will keep on remind you. Not only remind the caregiver, but also the owner. So the owner then, look at the camera and talk to the caregiver and say, hey, John, you haven't feed grandma's, medication today. So then they'll say, oh, okay, I'll take care of that. So it really is just a reminder. Other than that, we have
And
GPS
and real quick,
Yes.
I just want to jump in here and just say real quick,
Yeah.
Joe, that I've recently had to kind of jump into the role of caregiver over the past year or two, and medication, like, you think it's something so simple, it's like, oh, you do it every day. How can it be confusing? When you have pills that you have to take in the morning, but not in the evening, but not in the morning, but then only every other day, and and of course you are taking care of the person who's actually taking the medication, and they're not quite sure, maybe they overslept, or they forgot if they haven't taken it or not, and it gets very scary because you don't want to double up on medication. I have to say that I really enjoy the fact that you have that product, because that's one of my bigger pain points of being a caregiver, is having to deal with medication. And I have like little slots, and I sort it out every day, and I try to stay on top of it. But I think having the ability to, let's say, even travel, like if I had to leave for a couple days, and knowing that that was still being taken care of, huge peace of mind. So I did want to say that's a great product that you have.
Yes, for that matter, we have a little app, that separate app that goes just to, it is sort of, you can see it, right there, so whether you take the medication or not. Not only just the audio alert, but also a tracking that
Nice.
the time that you can program that yourself, in your app. You can set times, you can set 3 times a day, 4 times a day, 5 times a day. It's the software is very intuitive. So you just put in the time, and then they give you the alert if you pass that, if you miss that intake time. So it's I mentioned 2 things. One is mostly for normal folks to remind them, using a Dropbox, and the other case is probably more serious patients that for the caregiver, that is a kind of a motor rotation itself with 28 slots. You can feed that once a week. So those are assist our seniors to stay home with confidence. And the one key area to explain to seniors is that the video is not really trying to intrude your private life. The IP camera can be an aerial view. You probably don't, it's not a close up, and there's no real threat or video being stolen by someone. We have what we call triple protection on the video privacy. So those are the things that people have to kind of learn. The new technology is that the video privacy is absolutely utmost for us, and then we protect our seniors or our home residents or businesses with ultra secure privacy concern. Ultra secure. If video is exposed to a third party, we're liable. So we're mindful for the video privacy.
Right, and that's something that I definitely did want to get into. And Joe, I might have to interrupt you. I'm going to ask you this next question, but we might have to go to break here in just a moment. But I did want to say that because of your background, and because of a lot of the news stories that we cover here on the program on a daily basis, it seems like a lot of companies don't take security as kind of as an imperative. They say, oh yeah, we do all the basics. We have a security team, and we trust and we pay them money. Therefore, we must be safe. I wanted your kind of how do we know that putting cameras in our businesses, putting cameras in our homes is a very serious thing. What kind of steps do you take to make sure that myself or your call center, they're the only ones who are going to get access to that video, or at least anyone that we want to have access to it? How are you so sure that these video feeds are secure?
In our system is owner authorized. So if you don't want the call center to get the video clips, they won't get it. You don't want your doorman to get the video, they won't get it. Mm-hmm. You don't want your neighbors to get the video, they won't get it. Only the person that you trust, that you put them as the video user. Video user generally implies family members and very close friends. Now, in a situation with the cop, so if you want to share with the cop of the crime scene, you can put the the cop's mobile number, and they download an app, they'll be able to see it. So these are all we call, real-time add and drop. You can add someone to your video list, or you can delete somebody from the video list. So these are all supervisory control from the consumer side, and it is in the app. It's very intuitive. It's easy to input and delete.
I can see where that'd be a lot better than having to call in and verify and, having to add, do it from your end, and being able to do it from, I guess, my end would be much, much better. And Joe, actually, I will say that we're about to head off into break. Would you mind continuing on with us, on the other side of the break after the commercials?
Yes, I will, Ben.
All right, perfect. Thank you. So everyone out there, we'll be right back. More Computer America, more Home8, and of course, Joe Liu, Chief Executive Officer of the company. And it's been a great interview so far. We have a lot more to talk about. Everyone, we'll be right back. More right after this. Everyone, stay tuned.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-215-4461. 800-215-4461. 800-215-4461. That's 800-215-4461.
We are all Brother Wolf. 10 years ago, a group of locals banded together to create positive change. We took animals into our homes, held adoption events at local retailers, and talked to the community about our mission to help build a no-kill Asheville. A decade later, we have achieved so many victories for animals in need. There's been so much progress, yet there's still so much to do. As part of our year-long celebration, we encourage you to become a member of our special Compassionate Circle program. With a monthly donation of $10 or more, you will have behind-the-scenes access to the work we are doing at Brother Wolf. Our goal is to reach 1,000 members because we receive no government funding. Working together, we can help build and sustain no-kill communities. Learn more at compassionatecircle.bwar.org. We are a 501c3 tax-deductible organization.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. And by the way, before we get back to our guest and all that good stuff, first of all, thank you for tuning in. And if you missed any part of our conversation so far with Home8, then of course, hey, you can check out the podcast services wherever they are. Computer America should be right there. And after the program, it will be today's show in its entirety re-uploaded, and you should be good to go. But everyone, we continue on. We are talking to Mr. Joe Liu. He is the Chief Executive Officer of Home8. And Joe, thank you so much for continuing on with us. I did want to, kind of pick your brain about the fact that there are a lot of competitors in your field, just because I think you have this nice storm of, and it's kind of networking, everyone from networking to home security to webcam to monitoring services, like all of them kind of converged into the same space that you're competing in now. Although of course some are doing it with much more expensive, some are doing it with services and so on and so forth. But take like Netgear, for instance. They're starting to offer their own home monitoring and camera services and things like that. I wanted your opinion on just how you think Home8 really stands out among, all these different competitors. What would you say is kind of your bread and butter?
My bread and butter is multiple protection for less. Multiple here means many multiples. It can be home, business, and senior care in one package. And it also implies up to 10 camera and 10 concurrent video user, and up to 100 sensors that we support with one fee. and the fee is $19.99, all inclusive, no contracts and then no additional activation or any other charges. It's all inclusive, $19.99, and then they provide the 24/7 professional monitoring, unlimited event video recording, and the real-time collaboration. Earlier we talked about this video collaboration, with COP, and we're the only one that has that ability to offer that real-time third-party collaboration. And so this is, the differentiation is multiple protection for less.
Right.
So we, comparing with market leader, we're only a third of the cost, but you get the same kind of a service with collaboration. They don't have collaboration. They only have interactive. So it's interactive alarm versus the interactive and collaborative alarm system. We're the number one in the combined interactive and the collaborative. The difference is that we came from a networking side. We are not telephonic. Telephonic is one line. We're internet. We're plural. We're collaborative to begin with, and then the cloud is such that you can do video collaboration. You can do sensor audio collaboration. You can do self-monitoring and professional monitoring collaboration. So it's a very flexible cloud. That's why we offer home, business, and care. And this is a mixed service. Earlier we talked about second home. We talk about second home protection. Mm-hmm. We talk about small business protection, along with home protection. We talk about multiple dwellings. Like community protection, it's all under one cloud, depending on how consumers use it. So that's why we have 4 different packages to offer to consumer. One is for up to 1,000 square foot, that we call condo or apartment, customer, and the home customer up to 2,000 square foot, and business, to 3,000 and over, and also a separate care package, starting with simple panic button and camera. So and the camera in this case are talking cameras. You can in the emergency you can talk to the parents or seniors directly. So that's the differentiation. We call it multiple protections for less.
Right. And it definitely does show. And actually, one of the other points I wanted to, connect to, because like I said, there are a lot of different companies competing in this field, and there are a lot of companies that are not even competing. Like, I wouldn't say, we just had, not Master Lock. It was probably Schlage, or no. It was Kwikset. I actually see them here on your website. Like Kwikset is not a direct competitor to you, but they make a product that you could potentially want to integrate into your system to, have a deadbolt that could be activated with or without your smartphone, so the cops don't have to. Let's say you're not home, they don't have to bust down your door. You can unlock the door for emergency services. So, take companies like, Nest or Philips Hue, and yes, I'm reading directly from your website, Apple Watch, Amazon Echo, or Google Assistant, as an ongoing basis. And I see here that you work with a lot of different companies, I'm sure through if this and that, but on an ongoing basis, how important is it to make yourself, kind of usable or accessible to other companies that want to work themselves into your ecosystem?
We, early on, we learned that consumers don't like to carry, 10 different apps for a home application. So we try to help them to use one app, our app, obviously, to do to control other devices. So they don't have to go to individual app and do everything in one app. So that's the key to our application. Within that app, then you can do a lot of the things like like intrusion protection, like safety. Earlier we talked about CO, water leak, or fire protection. And then, furthermore, we have, 8 sensors that covers the, we call agent in place, for folks that staying connected with their parents, and even though they don't live together, give them that peace of mind in the event there's a need. These are the things that we differentiate from some of the major brands because of the nature that they were set up separately. And in this case, we offer, all these service, inclusive service for less.
Yeah, and of course, being able to control your lights and water detection, like you said, having that all through a single app is just hugely important. And of course,
absolutely, you mentioned absolutely. You just mentioned that Schleck or Quickset.
Mm-hmm.
These are all brands that we can control. So we can control Schleck lock, we can control the lock state locks, Yale locks, and we can work with. Like Philips Hue lighting, obviously, the most popular, Google Voice and, Amazon Echo.
Right.
And we all, we work with them, we work all these equal partners. In other words, we can control you can control, voice control, Home8 system via Google Assist or Amazon Echo.
Right, and really one of my personal favorites. We've had them on the show, and they're a lot of fun. If this then that, IFTTT. They, you can do so much. Where, if you're one of those kinds of people that enjoys walking into a cool house, but they like the energy savings, you could have the Nest thermostat turn itself up, and then when you get within a certain distance, the geofence, it will turn the AC back on, so you walk in, it feels perfect. And of course, all that could be controlled through the Home8 app as well. You just have to set it's just a big toy. I guess at some point it stops feeling like this really labor-intensive, expensive system, and it feels like, well, what can I do with this system? And it can be very, very exciting to hey. Go ahead.
Those are what you just mentioned. Those are all kind of a home automation convenience.
Yeah.
But I come back to the core of our system is really protection.
That's it.
Not only interactive protection, but also collaborative protection. Bring your families to protection. Some of the systems you can only have one user. Concurrent user is difficult. We provide up to 10 concurrent users. So and then those are video accessible. So you can authorize people to be on the list, and you can delete them. This is one of the features that we offer. So I would call this, other than protection for less, is really the collaboration piece differentiate us from others. Is that bring other people to protect your parents, protect your kids, protect your property and protect your loved ones. So it's really a flexible. Oh, and also protect your business as well.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. And I did want to get into just one more part, and then I have another question, and then we'll be about done. And sorry for taking so much of your time. It's been a lot of fun talking to you. But I did want to say that you mentioned DIY. It's certainly possible. I guess you could have someone come out and install it, maybe a handyman or something like that. But talk about actually installing this. Where are the instructions? Do they come with the hardware? Do you have videos online that people can look at? Just talk about installing the system into your business, your home, or your parents' home.
It's very easy. The window door, it's double tape the device. You just tape to the frame of the door and the frame, and that's it. And then the camera, you can lay it on the counter. I always recommend people just take aerial view. So you see an intruder, you don't need to see the intruder's face, right? You just put it on the the counter or up on by the fireplace or living room somewhere, right? So basically the aerial view give you better better coverage to see if there's someone in the room. So those are the couple of devices that you need to do, and then you just hook up this hub to your home router, and that's it. And the rest of them are the computer will take care, or the networking will take care of itself. And the rest of the management software is in the cloud, and it is also in the app. And the app is for the input. Consumer has basically we call software defined or user defined. Consumer just define who they want to access and so on and so forth. It's very straightforward and intuitive.
I gotcha. And of course, 24/7 support and, as well as monitoring. So, no, very, very important. And,
that's right.
Yeah. So
we tried time after time. We can do it in 10 minutes, and so consumer can do it in 10 minutes to set up the system. So it's that simple. It's no more than assemble a chair.
Right.
It's straightforward.
Very, very cool. So and so that's I think that's a very good overview of the product and services. Of course, if people want to find out more, they can of course go to home8alarm.com. We'll have a link to that in the show notes.
Yeah.
And Joe, before I let you go, I have one more question for you, and that has to do with the technological advances that you're looking forward to in the future. And on the show, we talk about things like machine learning, artificial intelligence, that kind of thing. But I mean, what gets you really excited about the possibilities of, I guess, home security, home monitoring technology? What are you looking forward to one day implementing into Home8 in the future?
You said it already. Artificial intelligence and the intelligence that we accumulate on the consumer behavior, and then we can predict a lot of the things, and we can do a lot of the preventive things. Currently the system already have that. Is that be able to sense where you are and provide preliminary alert before things happening. So it's called preventive, and then the another thing is predictive. Is that what might happen? Okay, so preventive and predictive are the areas I think not only Home8 is working on. I would say all the market leader is aiming at using data and analytics to improve the next generation of the technology. We happen to be fortunate that we started using the network, so we can provide collaborative means that we can collect more data from different party in the or different user. And in the hierarchical arrangement, we know who may access to what, and who may need certain help. So let's say if you have fall fall detection, our fall detection is a little bit more sophisticated than others because we have the data that we can analyze the data on the fly.
Right. Yeah, and I guess knowing to call the paramedics instead of the police would be something that could be very, very helpful in that case. Of course, it may be the same number, but you know what I mean. But very, very important. And actually, I could definitely see a future where this could actually aid not just yourself, but recently there have been a couple cases in the news about abductions. There's that one woman who had her kids stolen in broad daylight, and I found it very interesting that law enforcement, they were going door to door and asking for doorbell camera footage of the incident, and that was actually one of the major pieces to help identify the perpetrator. Not just being able to provide security for yourself, but I guess for your community as well, because if you have, let's say, a camera that records your front lawn, then that could be helpful for being able to turn that evidence over to police if something happens in your neighborhood. Very, very helpful. And you could see where just even a few homes within a neighborhood on a street could provide security for, I guess, everyone around them. And, so it's not just you're providing, safety to a lot of people around you. And that's exciting.
That's the nature of our business, is to give people that peace of mind. So Home8 Alarm will probably not stop here. We will continue to develop newer technology to make sure that we can meet the next generation demand. As I earlier mentioned, that when we start this thing, we are already mindful, providing next generation collaborative alarm technology to protect consumer. So that collaboration is one of the major differentiation. Other than our business model, differentiation is using DIY and professional monitoring. So you get to save that $1,000 for dealer and installer cost. Mm-hmm. So we will continue, invent and then trying to offer consumer price and performance. That's the goal of our business. As a technologist, that's always my dream.
Yeah, and
continue improving.
I think that's a perfect place to kind of wrap up the interview here. I will let you have the last word, Joe. If people want to find out more about Home8 and what it is you guys do, where would be the best place to go?
Well, you already said it. Go to Home8 Alarms. It's HOME number 8 ALARM alarm.com. Home8alarm.com. Home
right.
number 8, ALARM.com. That you will see the website is very straightforward. You can buy one online, fairly easy, and then starting to enjoy our protection.
Yeah, for anyone out there who's been watching the video portion, we've been poking around your website as we've been talking, showing off your products. Very, very easy to navigate. So yeah, and as I said before, we'll include a link to that in the show notes after the show's up. But Joe, I want to thank you so much. Again, I apologize for taking some of your time, but this was a very interesting interview. So thank you so much for coming on Computer America.
It's my pleasure, Ben, and thank you all for listening.
Our pleasure, our pleasure. So until next time, and Joe, you'll definitely be hearing back from us. This is right up our alley. We love hearing about this kind of stuff. And so everyone, once again, Mr. Joe Liu, he is the Chief Executive Officer for Home8 or Home8. And Joe, thank you so much. Until next time, have a great day.
You bet.
All right, and have a good one. Bye-bye. All right, so there he goes, everyone. And hey, that's our segment with Home8. Home8, we should probably say that a little bit quicker. So Home8, and it's not Home8. But hey, thank you so much for checking that out. And now in these last 10 minutes, we're of course going to do computer and technology news, and that is well brought to you by Computer America. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so this article, we had it on the docket for yesterday, but hey, we're going to go ahead and cover it today because it's a pretty big pivot. And when you think about Google, you think they're a big competitor to a lot of different services out there, and one of those is really Apple. And I should probably say more. Their hardware. You know, Apple makes smartphones, Google makes smartphones, Apple makes, what does Apple make nowadays? Computers, laptops, they make Chromebooks and things like that. Well, hey, check this out. This has to do with tablets. And, well, Google says it's done making tablets. So check that out. And it cancels 2 unreleased products, saying that the Pixel Slate won't get a sequel, but the Pixel Book will. So Google will not be launching, and check this out. You can see it here. This is from The Verge, and this is by Chris Welch. Give proper kudos. And Google will not be launching a sequel to last year's Pixel Slate tablet, and will instead focus on its Chrome OS hardware efforts in traditional laptop devices like the Pixel Book. They're saying that, quote, for Google's first-party hardware efforts will be focusing on Chrome OS laptops and will continue to support Pixel Slate. Translation: you can expect the Slate to continue to receive software and security updates, but there won't be a Pixel Slate 2. And they said that the gentleman who runs the Pixel hardware business confirmed on Twitter, saying that Google hardware team will be solely focused on building laptops moving forward and no more tablets. So, Google went so far as to reveal that it had axed or discontinued 2 in-development tablet products, moving employees who had been working on them to other areas of the company. The tablets were both smaller in size than the Pixel Slate and were planned for release sometime after 2019, but disappointing quality assurance testing led Google to completely abandon both devices. And yeah, you know, when you try to I don't want to say cut corners, but when you try to cut costs in tablets, you generally lead to poor screen quality, which is horrible. I mean, that's all a tablet is. It's just one giant screen. Or you run into manufacturing errors, and it's just, you know, not a very durable tablet. So you want to make sure the quality is up there. And if it's not, then I think it's good for Google to, well, let's just say they've really streamlined the process in pulling the plug on certain devices. So there you go. So we're going to go ahead and leave that one there just because we don't have a lot of time. But Google will no longer be making tablets, leaving really Apple and a couple. I think Samsung has a tablet, and you know, a couple other tablets in the field. But hey, I think that leaves Apple almost the undisputed king of tablet. So there you go. There's that one. Let's go ahead and do this next one just because I know that a lot of people picked up on it and I wanted to get this out as quickly as possible. Fake news. saying debunked the absurd story about smartphones causing kids to sprout horns. They're saying that the news coverage will make you want to ram your head into something. And saying, and this is from Ars Technica, by the way, Beth Mole. I knew this was bogus as soon as I heard about it, but yeah. Not horns. Saying that the Washington Post on Thursday published a story suggesting that the use of mobile devices is causing young people to sprout horns from their skulls. But a look at the scientific data behind the story finds that such a splashy takeaway is tenuous at best and atrocious reporting at worst. Yeah, this one should be obvious. So the Post story was primarily based on a study. On a study published. That's where you get stubbly. A study published back in February 2018 by two Australian researchers. It earned fresh attention last week after being mentioned in the BBC feature on how modern life is supposedly transforming the human skeleton. The study was published in Nature's open source scientific journal, Scientific Reports, which is supposedly peer-reviewed, but the study has significant limitations and flaws, and the Post breezed over them for a sensationalized story. You can see where, and this happens all the time, where one story gets out and it's like self-published, and then someone references the self-publishing and so on and so forth, where no one actually peer reviews it, or there's not enough actual review of the actual story, but because it gets mentioned self-fulfillingly enough, it suddenly becomes fact just because you can find sources that reference itself. Not exactly a good look for it, but it's a way that it does happen. Now, perhaps the most striking problem are that the study makes no mention of horns and does not include any data whatsoever on mobile device usage by its participants who, according to the Post, are growing alleged horns. Also, troubling is the study authors don't report much of the data, and some of the results blatantly conflict with each other. Essentially, poor data management. And last, they say it appears that the study's lead author, a chiropractor and biomechanics researcher at the University of the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, has a financial incentive to convince people that their modern lifestyle are deforming their skeletons, saying that the doctor goes by the name Dr. Posture online and has developed devices and techniques to prevent such posture problems. At the time of this writing, that was currently unavailable on Amazon, though. All of this didn't stop the Post from writing an uncritical article with the headline, "Horns are growing on young people's skulls. Phone use is to blame, research suggests." And believe me, after seeing that on the nightly news, everyone picked up on that, and really they shouldn't have. So let's go ahead and skip down to the actual takeaway, saying that they conclude that the study should be interpreted cautiously and that the authors should explain their data better. Moreover, he doesn't think that anybody should be worried about bone spurs in the back of their skulls, saying that the spur itself is not likely to ever be symptomatic or have symptoms as a result of these bone spurs. That said, he does recommend people with neck and upper back pain to be mindful of their posture. He recommends holding your phone higher to keep from bending your neck too much. And of course, texting with two thumbs is better than with one. Good posture involves having the ear canal directly above the shoulder and directly above the hips. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but after a while you go, wow, that feels so much better at night. And of course, hey, just good posture. So yeah, the basics, good posture is good. No one's denying that. It's just that no, young people are not going to get horns or bone spurs or what have you. That was just sensationalism. So I'm sorry for everyone who picked up on that and said, wow, look at these stupid young kids growing horns. Not necessarily the case. So I don't think we have time for any more. So some of the other stories that we weren't going to be able to get to include Facebook getting knocked off the S&P list of ethical companies. Yes, did you even know that the S&P had a list of ethical companies? And were you surprised that Facebook was on it? I was too. Let's see. So there's that one. There's another story about Google Chrome has become a surveillance software. It's time to switch. And of course, an op-ed for that. Music playing softly in the background means that we are just flat out of time. Everyone, I want to say one more time, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a fun show. Huge shout out to, of course, our guests over at Home8 for joining us here on the program. If you'd like to learn more, you can go to computeramerica.com, check out the show notes, and everything should be right up there. Just that easy. So everyone, until next time, next week on the program, we're going to catch up on a lot of our guests that we were unfortunately not able to catch today, or I should say this week. Hopefully we'll have segments from Marcel Gagnier, our Linux expert, from Darius Derekshani, our graphics expert, and we might or might not, I'm still deciding that in my head, if we're going to have, of course, have our gaming correspondent on Tuesday. But I will say on Monday, unfortunately, I am tied up. I will not be available, or at least I shouldn't be. So we may have a best of on Computer America next Monday. But everyone, until next time, have a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. Everyone, bye-bye.